Have you ever had one of those days that seems like it was designed specifically to break all the rules? Well, that's exactly what happened to me on a Saturday I'll never forget. A day when the back door was opened 4 times, and my brother in law proved he had a truly efficient tool. Let me explain how it all started and why that day completely changed the dynamic of our family. I'm Fernanda. I'm 34, and I've been married to Bruno for 8 years. We've always had a peaceful relationship, but lately, he's been so focused on work, so distant. He's a manager at a logistics company and always comes home exhausted, with no energy for anything. We live in a large house in the countryside of Santa Catarina, in a small town I'd rather not name. You know how it is. Small town, everyone knows everyone. Bruno has a younger brother, Gustavo, who is 29. He's single, works as a personal trainer, and has always been the kind of guy who turns heads. Tall, dark, with a defined body, and that natural charm that makes any woman take notice. Gustavo has always been a big part of our lives, coming over for lunch at least twice a week, and I've always enjoyed his company. He's funny, charismatic, and has a very direct way of speaking that sometimes left me a little flustered. In the last few months, I started to notice our chats were becoming more intense. He would comment on my appearance, praise my cooking, and always find an excuse to get a little closer when Bruno wasn't around. And if I'm being honest, I started to notice him more too. The way he moved, the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching, especially how he always managed to brush against me as he passed through the kitchen. Last week, Bruno told me he had to travel to Sao Paulo on Saturday to sort out some problems at the company. He said he'd leave early in the morning and wouldn't be back until Sunday night. Fernanda, will you be okay on your own? I can ask Gustavo to stop by to keep you company, he said, with complete innocence. Oh, don't worry, I'll be fine. But if he wants to come for lunch, that's no problem, I replied, trying to sound casual. On Friday night, Gustavo came over to say goodbye to Bruno and ended up staying for dinner. During the conversation, he mentioned, Bro, I'll swing by tomorrow to see if Fernanda needs anything. A woman alone in a big house like this, you know? Bruno thanked him and said he'd feel more at ease knowing I had company. Saturday arrived. Bruno left at the crack of dawn, around 6 in the morning. I stayed in bed a little longer, but I couldn't sleep. I knew Gustavo was coming, and a strange mixture of anxiety and anticipation took hold of me. Around 9, I heard the doorbell. It was him, already dressed, with that mischievous smile that always unsettled me a bit. Good morning, sis. Came to see if you need anything, and I brought some fresh bread for us to have breakfast. I made a hearty breakfast, and we sat talking in the kitchen. The conversation started to heat up, and he began making those comments that always made me blush. Fernanda, you look different today. I don't know if it's your hair down or this nightgown. You look very attractive. I felt my face flush. I was, in fact, wearing a loose nightgown that showed off some of my curves, but I didn't think he'd notice so much. Gustavo, stop it. I'm your sister-in-law, I said, trying to sound serious, but laughing. Sister-in-law or not, you're a beautiful woman, and honestly, I don't think my brother gives you the attention you deserve. The conversation grew more tense, more charged. He stood up to wash his cup, and as he passed behind me, he placed his hands on my shoulders. Fernanda, can I tell you something? I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time. I turned to face him, and in that moment, I realized just how close we were. My heart started to race. Tell me, I whispered. I've always found you incredible. I've always wanted to show you how special you are, in a way my brother has perhaps forgotten. Before I could answer, he moved closer. His hand slid down to my waist, and I knew I couldn't resist much longer. Gustavo, this is crazy. Sometimes, he answered, kissing my neck. Crazy is exactly what we need. I didn't resist. I let him guide me to the living room, where the first moment happened. It was intense, charged with a tension that had been building for months. When he suggested using the back door, I simply agreed. His tool was truly impressive, and the experience was completely different from anything I had ever known. After that first time, we just lay there talking, trying to process what had just happened. Fernanda, I don't regret this, and I hope you don't either. I don't know what to think, Gustavo, but I confess, it was special. Around noon, as I was making lunch, he came up behind me again, and the attraction was stronger than any rational thought. The second moment happened right there in the kitchen, with him holding me against the sink as he used his tool on the back door again. It was even more intense than the first. We had lunch as if nothing had happened, but the tension in the air was palpable. Every glance, every accidental touch ignited something between us. In the afternoon, while we were watching TV in the living room, the third moment occurred. This time, it was slower, more exploratory. Gustavo seemed to know every single spot that made me lose control completely. The back door was getting used to his tool, and the experience was even more pleasurable. Around 5 o'clock, as I was organizing some things in the guest room, he appeared at the door. Fernanda, I need to say something before I go. What is it? Today was the best day I've had in a long time, and I don't want it to be the last. He approached me, and once again, I couldn't resist. The fourth moment was the most intense of all. By now, the back door was completely adapted to his tool, and we were able to explore positions I never imagined were possible. It was almost 6 in the evening when we finished. I was exhausted, but satisfied in a way I hadn't felt in years. Gustavo, you have to go. Bruno might come home early. I know. But I want you to know, this wasn't just desire, Fernanda. I really have feelings for you. He dressed quickly and left, leaving me alone to process everything that had happened. Around 7:30, I heard the key in the lock. My heart leaped into my throat. Bruno was home early. Fernanda, I'm home. I rushed to take a quick shower and get properly dressed. When I came downstairs, he was in the kitchen. How was your day, love? Did Gustavo stop by? He did. He stayed for a while, had lunch. We talked a bit. It was nice to have the company, I replied, trying to sound natural. That's great. He's a hell of a brother, isn't he? Always looking after the family. If only he knew how his brother had looked after me. So, how was the trip? Did you solve the problems? I sorted them out faster than I expected, so I came back today. I missed being home. We had a normal dinner, watched some TV, and went to bed. Bruno didn't suspect a thing. On Sunday morning, Gustavo sent me a message. Good morning, sis. How are you feeling? Confused, but good. You? Thinking about you, about us. When can we talk? I don't know, Gustavo. I need to process all this. I understand, but know that I don't regret a single thing. And I hope you don't either. Since the fan, our dynamic has completely changed. Gustavo still comes over for lunch, but now there's a constant tension in the air. We exchange loaded glances, make double meaning comments, and whenever Bruno isn't around, he finds a way to touch me or whisper something in my ear. Nothing has happened again, but I know it's only a matter of time. The attraction between us has only grown stronger since that Saturday. Bruno remains completely oblivious. He's so focused on his work that he doesn't notice the changes at home. The exchanged looks, the way Gustavo behaves around me. Sometimes I feel guilty, but at the same time, I can't deny it was one of the most intense experiences of my life. The way Gustavo touched me, the way he used his tool on the back door 4 times in one day, how he made me feel desired in a way I hadn't in years. I know it's wrong. I know this could end badly, but I also know that a part of me wants it to happen again. What would you do in my place? Could you resist such a powerful attraction? Or do our hearts and our bodies sometimes speak louder than reason? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to know your opinion. And if you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel.